هذا رمضان شهر صفاء الروح فيه الإحسان والأنوار تدور هذا رمضان.
Section number 8, communal obligations for the dead Muslim. Bismillah, the author rahimahullah said, what is necessary, that is obligatory on who? On the Muslim community for the dead Muslim, if he or she was born alive, are 4 things. So, if someone who is a Muslim dies, there are certain matters that need to be done as communal obligation. Communal obligation, fard kifaya. On who? Upon who? Upon the Muslim community in that region. Those who were aware of his death. There are things that they are obligated to do. If some of them do these things, then none is sinful. If all of them leave out doing these things, then all of them are sinful. All of them have committed a sin. That's the meaning of communal obligation, fard kifaya. What are these things? Washing, shrouding, praying for, and burying. He said the minimum requirement for washing is to wash the whole body, including skin and hair, with purifying water. Very clear. The minimum requirement for shrouding is clothing that covers the entire body, even once. This is the case when one does not leave an inheritance. So, if he is solvent, he has money, he left inheritance, then it is obligatory to shroud him with 3 wraps. But what was mentioned here is the minimum. The minimum requirement for shrouding is clothing that covers the entire body, as we mentioned, even once. This is the case when one does not leave an inheritance. However, if he left, then it is 3 wraps. Otherwise, the obligatory shrouding would be with 3 wraps, as we mentioned. Unless, what's the exception? Unless one has left a will requesting leaving them out, in which case one is shrouded in 1 wrap that covers the whole body. If, for example, he left inheritance, but he left a will asking them to leave out the 3 wraps and to cover him with he asked them to leave out the 3 wraps, then they would cover him with one wrap. The author rahimahullah said the integrals of the funeral prayer are 7. Number 1, the intention simultaneously with the takbir of ihram, as we explained previously. So the intention simultaneously with the takbir of ihram, like the rest of the prayers. So while saying Allahu Akbar, one would intend in his heart, I now perform the funeral prayer for this deceased person. That's 1. Number 2, to make takbir 4 times, meaning the whole prayer consists of 4 takbirs. Now, in between these takbirs, there are things to be said. Now we will mention it. But in total, it has 4 takbirs. So to make takbir 4 times. Number 3, standing for whoever is able, because it is an obligation, although it is a communal obligation. So similar to the obligatory prayer that we spoke about in previous slides. Number 4, reciting Al-Fatiha after any takbirah of the 4. However, the sunnah is to recite it after the first. So the sunnah, the recommended, is to recite the Fatiha after the first takbirah. But you can recite Al-Fatiha after any one of them. Number 5, the salah on the Prophet ﷺ after the second takbirah. And it is not valid anywhere else except after the second. So it's not like Al-Fatiha. Al-Fatiha, you can choose whichever takbirah, any of the takbirat, and you can say the Fatiha after it. As for as-salat ala nabi, it is particularly after the second takbirah. The supplication, number 6, the supplication dua for the dead after the third. for a matter related to the hereafter. And it is enough to say, "Oh Allah, forgive him and have mercy upon him," for example. Number 7, the salam after the 4th takbirah by saying Assalamu alaikum, and there's no bowing, no ruku' in it, and no prostrating, no sujood in the funeral prayer, Salat al-Janazah. The minimum requirement for burial is a grave that blocks the smell of the dead from rising and protects him from wild animals so that they do not dig out his corpse. It needs to be deep enough so that the wild animals won't dig and get out his corpse. Then, the best burial is a grave that is as deep as an average man's height with his arms extended above his head. That is the best, which is not what people usually do in nowadays. And it is obligatory to turn the dead on the side, that is, turn the chest towards the Qibla. He needs to be on any of his sides, but for sure, better is the right one, but his chest needs to be towards the Qibla.
هذا رمضان شهر صفاء الروح فيه الإحسان